Welcome to Rattlesnake TV, guys. Today we are going to be discussing a panel debate between anti-feminists and male feminists. We're going to be touching some very spicy topics, so hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Women have it easier than they think they do.
Well, yeah, because with women, they're born with their value. They innately have value. They can create life, and they're extremely valuable from birth. For men, it's not really the same way. You have to make something of yourself to be respected.
Just a second ago, you were saying that a pretty woman could go onto a rich man's yacht, and that would be kind of her ticket on, right? Okay, so did that help women vote at all, being pretty?
But what does that have to do with the...
I'm just asking, because I mean, when we're talking about women's lives being better than they think they are, would you rather be pretty and be able to get on a yacht or have your liberties?
What are we living in, like 1950s or 2022?
Yeah.
They already have the right to
vote
vote
for a long time.
I think what was really evident to me when both of y'all came up and talked was how indoctrinated into the patriarchy you are, right? You both come up and say, as men, we have to prove something. And those expectations that you put on yourself is a direct result of patriarchy and the systems that feminism is trying to dismantle.
Beta! As are the
married,
values that women have that when they were born that you're talking about. Women did not create those.
Right.
Men did.
Those are God ordained. Men and women are both equal under God and in value as human beings. In Genesis, you have a creation of both men and women that are made in God's
We're
image.
not
So
about
we
to
are
quote
both...
the Bible on like some feminist
Hold on,
topic.
but so...
I mean, we
If
can.
we're operating in a country where there's a separation of church and state, you cannot use religion as a
And the Bible
motivation
also
to
doesn't
make
tell
legislation.
If I hear one more person use religion as a reason to not give rights to people, I'm probably gonna fucking explode. People using their own personal ideologies as an excuse to implement legislation over other people's lives are simply just not okay with the fact that they can't control everything around them.
Yes, thank God somebody said it. Because all of those ideas and principles and morals and philosophies that have acted as the structure for every single society throughout the world since the beginning of time should be absolutely not talked about in any discussion revolving around morality. And you're sitting here as a self-proclaimed feminist, and it says feminist on the screen, telling people that their ideologies should have nothing to do with legislation. The cognitive dissonance there is something shocking. And it's all well and good to sit there and say, you know, we live in a society that's separated church and state. Okay, well, you also live in a society that was founded upon the ideas of Judeo-Christian morality and ethics.
There's no wrong reason to get an abortion.
So I'll just center the conversation around the very fact that, you know, we're a group of 8 men, the optics of 8 men in a room talking about when women do and don't deserve to get an abortion it's a bad look. So for me, from a personal standpoint, you know, I have a girlfriend. There might be some reasons on a personal level where her and I having that conversation together, I might say, oh, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. On a legislative level, I don't feel confident enough to legislate when someone is and isn't allowed to get health care. Because that's what abortion is, it's health care.
Yeah. One of the paramount ideologies of, I guess, being a quote-unquote male feminist is just the ability to mind your own business. Just to be able to say that this is the wrong reason to have an abortion, you're already headed down the wrong path.
Off the top of my head, I know that it was mentioned earlier that abortion is healthcare, and I first want to push back on that. Abortion is not healthcare. Healthcare preserves life, it protects it. It doesn't take it away, it doesn't eliminate it.
What about the woman's life?
But when you exterminate a child, that is doing harm.
Oh, but it's
that
not
is
always a
healthcare.
child, right? So it's a discussion when it becomes a child or not. That's not a gray area, that's not a line.
It is actually scientifically proven. It is a separate
So we're
strain of
talking about science
DNA
or law?
at conception. If you ask any doctor...
But if you took that clump of cells out, would it survive?
It's not a
Well,
clump
we
of
are all
cells,
a
that's why you
clump of
call it a
cells.
termination. Scientifically, it is a life at birth, and scientifically,
birth.
it is
you
at
just hear?
conception. At conception,
sorry.
It is a
scientific.
life, but it is not a human.
So look, though, the thing is, and you say it's about protecting life, abortions are protecting lives of thousands of women who maybe are not able to
at
have.
the expense of another life.
But you're already prioritizing that other life over the woman who's carrying that life.
Because of patriarchy too.
Because of
That's
patriarchy.
why you're doing it.
Because of
Because we've
patriarchy,
already
y'all are
devalued
basically
women.
saying that
So what if we're
these
aborting a
cells
female
are more
baby?
important than the woman.
I think it's absolutely shameful how flippantly our society has begun to treat the topic of abortion. You are literally exterminating an unborn child.
To
That
protect
is
the
wrong.
life of
That is
another
wrong.
woman.
Then don't have sex without protection.
Really, you don't
Then
have
get
sex without
contraception.
protection. How about you don't have sex without protection?
Well, I don't have a
Tell them what they
baby.
can do.
I don't have a baby.
Tell them what they can do. Tell them what they can do.
Okay.
Tell them what they can do. But again, we're also,
Murder an
once
innocent
again,
child.
we're zooming in on a high level on the end result. We're not talking about the systemic issues that cause women to have abortions. Hold on. We're not talking about the lack of resources that make people feel like they cannot sustain a pregnancy or sustain a life.
Right.
And those are things that are caused by the way men have set up society. So instead, hold on. So instead of talking about the actual issues from the top down and going the whole way, we go to the most oppressed person involved and make it their fault.
Now, many of you would have watched the episodes that I've done where I've broken down the body language genius of such characters as Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand. What we're seeing here is the perfect antithesis to that. Our friend Quinton here displays awful body language. He's constantly closed off, signifying that he's also closed off to ideas and he's not interested in what you've got to say. He's always looking forward and actually not engaging with and making eye contact with people. This basically tells people, I'm not interested in your ideas, I'm above you, and you're not even worth my attention. And whenever you're having a conversation, guys, don't ever start speaking to people like this. Because in the real world, if you do that, you just come across as a condescending prick.
Women should be encouraged to be financially independent of men.
I think women should go out and be financially smart and know how to make money and be able to make money for themselves. But being independent of men leaves this notion of that you can never trust a man or that men are unsafe. And the problem that this brings is in the family. I think
Can
the
I ask you
nuclear,
why?
hold on, I'm just going to finish my thought. I'll explain. With the nuclear family, you have, and this is for both men and women, they're the most happiest when they are in that kind of dynamic. And to your point about marriages where women makes more than the man, that's one of the biggest indicators of divorce. And I think there is a societal and honestly God-given responsibility for men to provide. So when men are told that women are going to be independent of you, you're stripping away a lot of their purpose and responsibility to be caretakers of women and to provide for women.
People should be able to do in their households what they want to do. And I don't think anybody's trying to take that option away from women. I think y'all think people are, but I don't think that's really happening.
But they are. But they are. We see that in society today. People demonizing women for choosing to stay at home. Female empowerment also means empowering women, again, to make the choice that fits them, their choices, and what they want to do. It is just as powerful, just as influential, just as important as a choice to make to raise your kids at home, if that is what you want to do, and also be the CEO of Walmart, if that's what you choose to do. We can empower women to be girl bosses, whatever you want to say.
Would you empower a male friend if he told you that he was going to quit his job to be a full-time stay-at-home father?
If he wants to.
What? So
Cash in, buddy.
That's good. I just want to make sure because like you're only defending women who get demonized for doing this, and you're not like advocating for men to want to step up and do that too. You're only
because most men don't want to.
Why not? Why don't you want
because
men?
they don't want
because
to.
they just don't want to.
I don't want to.
I just want to make sure I follow your logic.
Are you pro choices or pro less choices?
This is a trap. This is a trap.
What do you mean by that?
Are you pro choices? Are you
He's
pro less
trapping you.
choices?
Why is he yelling over a conversation that he's not even involved in? And take note of this, guys, because our friend Quentin here is showing some great examples of somebody that does not know how to read a room and comes across as very arrogant and as somebody who has very little self-awareness.
I asked him why he doesn't encourage men. He said because they don't want to do that. So then why is it a problem if women don't want to be stay-at-home?
I'm not encouraging women to stay at home.
Too.
I'm not encouraging women to stay at home.
never said
I'm
that.
saying that they have a choice, and I'm not for taking choices away from women. You may be. I don't know.
All right, reset.
The reason why men, for the most part, don't want to be stay-at-home dads is because we find meaning in providing. And there's a story about when the British colonised Australia. The Aboriginal people who used to live here beforehand were hunters and gatherers, and the men were obviously the hunters, and that's where they got their meaning in life. And when the British came and colonised Australia, they also introduced their version of food and also alcohol. And the alcoholism problem in the Aboriginal community became endemic and still is. And one of the major reasons for that was because men lost their purpose. They lost the meaning in their life, which was to provide for their families.
Male feminists are in it to get laid.
Well, duh.
I have a few like friends that go to these parties and they're like, oh yeah, fuck Andrew Tate. They all watch him, but they'll be like, oh fuck Andrew Tate, just so they can get laid because they know that's how, you know, a woman will feel like, oh wow, they're listening to me, or oh wow, they agree with me, and feel a little more connected.
Yeah. And I think for me, as someone who believes genuinely in the fact that men and women are equal, but I don't go around parading myself as a feminist, because the only thing that I could think that justifies being a third-wave feminist, being a feminist today, is you must just want to get laid, because there's no reason to believe in all of these crazy things that go after your identity as a man, that seek to strip you of your masculinity, that perpetuate these terrible ideas that men are bad and evil and all of these things, that you can't be a provider, you can't be a protector, all of these things. I think that has to be the reason.
I like living in a patriarchal society.
I would say patriarchal society, again, I've mentioned the scriptural basis for this, but I think patriarchal society is the way that society functions best. Yeah, patriarchy is just a man-led society. So I think we've kind of flipped the term on its head to mean something that it doesn't mean, to say that a patriarchy is a society that oppresses women. That's not what a patriarchy is. So I think if you have a patriarchy operating properly, you have men that are responsible and taking care of their families, taking care of the women of society, and in turn the women have equal opportunities to pursue whatever career they want, to be a mom, to be a wife, and to do the things that they want to do as well.
We're coming to eat you.
So I'll go first. This is a little bit of a personal, emotional thing. At the beginning of September, I lost my brother to cancer. And I took about 2 or 3 weeks off work. And then I really started feeling, you know, the financial impact of it. And I have my girlfriend, you know, people in my life telling me that they want to help me out financially. But I have this thing internally within me that feels like a leech. In some way, shape, or form, that is because of this thing that this expectation that we put on men to be providers. It's really fucking hard. And I can't explain why. I would have liked to have a little bit more time than 3 weeks before I had to start worrying about fucking money again after my brother passed away. And I do feel like that kind of is a direct result of the patriarchy. And I know that it is myself, it's my personal feelings, but I think it stems from the society that I grew up in that I'm even feeling these things to begin with.
Now, that's a terrible thing to go through. And as somebody who has 2 brothers who are my best mates, I literally could not think of anything worse. But in terms of the leech that you're talking about, that's because you're evolutionarily programmed to want to work, to want to carry a load. There's great meaning and dignity in taking personal responsibility and persevering through the absolute tragedies that life is bound to throw at us. And I guarantee that every single person listening to or watching this video has gone through something in their life that's so traumatic and horrible that they weren't sure at times how they would possibly make it through, but have had to find a way to persevere. And that's not the patriarchy, brother. That is life. And suffering is a part of life. And I feel for this guy. He seems like a lost soul and somebody that would really benefit from embracing his masculinity. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that video, then click here to watch another one and make sure you subscribe to Rattlesnake TV. Otherwise, I will leave my link tree in the bio, so hit me up on social medias. Get in touch if you've got any video ideas or if you want me to come on your podcast or if you just want to say hi. Till next time, guys, I'm Jake. This is Rattlesnake TV.